How many fortresses have fallen because a turncoat inside the walls threw open the gates? How many defenders have been butchered alongside their families in their sleep because a few scum wanted their bag of silver or place by the throne? In the war for the survival of our species, there can be no mercy for traitors. Colonel Hans Castillo, Order of the Day.
All right, welcome back to Terra Invicta. 1.0 should be out when this one goes live, so I hope you're enjoying the game. We'll explain what Hans is on about in a moment, but first, Victor 83 is about to intercept our research fleet around Mars, but we have pushed the Falchion here out. This is a modified escort ship, a Cheetah 2 long range. Still on the Artemis, not the Athena, the old munitions. I'm going to upgrade it later on, but for the moment, this is what we've got. A Mark II targeting computer, and it's going to do the job of trying to defend our research ship, which I think it should be perfectly able to do. We'll accept that engagement, start the battle, and I think we'll just torpedo them. We should be able to tank with our forward armor. We should be able to tank. There's no reason to burn. We don't have a huge amount of reserve DV. People ask, why am I not burning to increase velocity? Chemical engines do not have a bunch of reserve delta V, and we're going to need a lot of it in some cases to get back to the station. You can always take damage, which reduces your DV. One of the reasons I want Orion drives is for the greater amount of reserve DV. We just don't have it at the moment. Alien ship is firing its laser batteries. Great for logistics and unlimited ammo. Not enough for dealing with that scale of threat. TLDR, too bad, so sad. However, with the Falchion now back at the station repaired, we've got a classic case of the aliens learning and escalating. So, one ship didn't work. So, what are they sending now? They're sending two ships, and instead of one being a laser boat by itself, we now have a Duskwind, so we have a laser boat corvette again. But we also have this thing, the Looming Wrath battleship. And I think I saw this thing when I was playing around in skirmish mode. I believe this is a torpedo battleship. I think this has a little bit of point defense and then a whole bunch of torpedo tubes. And their torpedo tubes are better than ours. So if we're going to want to survive this episode, we're going to have to introduce not just more torpedo firepower to our Mars defensive fleet. We're also going to need to introduce point defense capable of dealing with torpedoes. And I will show you what that is in just a moment as we start to put together ship designs. A little bit of a clue, there's some construction going on in the background, but pay no attention to the man behind the curtain right this second. What we're doing in terms of fleet combat, just so you understand where we're at, and also some of the things I'm deliberately not doing. What I'm trying to do for this being a more noob-friendly playthrough is not going hyper early aggressive. There would be an argument at this stage of the game, and I probably will in one of my brutal runs. At this stage, we have all this spare mission control capacity, ramp up a whole bunch of infrastructure, build a bunch of ships, start raiding the aliens in the asteroid belt, or maybe even consider a Jupiter campaign to try and kick them out of there with low tech, at least distract them, start inflicting a whole bunch of offensive attrition, go to total war, and let's just figure it out as we go along. Even though we have basically no technology, try and make it work. I don't consider that a super noob-friendly strategy, so what we're playing this game is a little bit more of a conservative one, where what we're doing now is a low-hate defensive attrition battle, where I want to constantly stay at the point where the aliens are mad at me, so they try and attack, which means I can defend myself without inflicting more hate on myself, while still salvaging resources, buying myself time, controlling their fleet growth, rather than being completely at peace, which requires my economy to be even smaller, and them to build up ships without losing anything in return. We want to fight defensive attrition, but the hate level not to be super high, so that if it ever gets really bad, we can say, okay, you know what, we're just going to let them destroy some stations, bring that hate level down, and we'll try again with another wave. So it's not a full commitment strategy, it's a defensive attrition strategy, and that's what we're going to be trying to do. I've started getting these tier 2 solar mirror arrays up, and they are glorious. +6 power per panel tier on the surface. So our solar arrays are producing 109 power at Mars, way more than on Earth, and this is going to go way up. We'll get these to like, I think 160 plus, which is nice. So that's 96 bonus power to that module. Oof. Okay, so we'll scale up Mars, we'll get some Marines, we'll respond to these threats. Note that the alien fleets that are incoming to Earth are also fairly numerous. 2 Duskwinds arriving in 71 days, then a transport in 82, then a Duskwind in 124, then a Duskwind and an Autumn Frost. Now, they're like, oh, we'll meet at Earth and we'll reconfigure and then we'll go beat up the humans. No. we're going to try and fight defensive engagements in sequence against these, including, hopefully, if we can smack a Decaying Star, 2 Decaying Star battle cruisers. That'd be a nice pickup. These are what? 18,000 tonners? A lot of resource commitment. 340 water worth of propellant, plus whatever they built the thing out of. So, like I said, the more ships that we can bait in and destroy, the better. The ships that I have in Earth right now have gone into upgrades. They'll be coming out in just one day, but if we go ship classes, the Cheetah 2 Block 3 is double Athena, level 3 targeting computer magazine, still has 2.8, 15 to 0 is the configuration, and the next generation will use Orion drives, and we'll also start to roll out monitors. This, for example, is my Mars-class monitor, so-called because it has enough delta V to take off from the surface of Mars, which means we can build it on those shipyards I have at my surface bases, where I have a lot of electrical power, a lot of spare space, and launch them to orbit. This is triple Athena, 40mm, targeting computer, magazine, Orion drive, so you get a nice bit of acceleration. Not a huge amount of reserve cruise delta V, but enough that you can do a couple of maneuvers. 20 forward, 2 side, 2 rear armor. We'll also design, don't consider this final, but we might also design something where we go, if we worry about dealing with torpedoes, something like this might be workable. Make a pure PD defense ship. E-beamers are a type of point defense that can't shoot at magnetic rounds. They can only shoot at missiles. But they are the best PD when it comes to missiles. It has an engagement range of 200 kilometers and it fires once every 4 seconds. And they weigh nothing. They weigh like 5 tons per. So if we can put one of these with our force, if I'm right about the aliens sending a torpedo boat, this should provide the point defense that our force needs to keep the missile boats alive long enough to yeet their Athena payloads at the aliens, who will probably be expecting Artemis, not nuclear-powered missiles, to make an impact, shoot down the aliens, and hopefully keep our losses. Since we don't need magazines or a targeting computer, because we're not firing offensively, we don't have ammunition, we can just pack 3 mobile science labs. So if we build 2 of these ships, we're up to our 50% maximum bonus. All we need. Okay, jumping forward a little bit, we have militarization of space being researched. Those are our Marines. Mission to Saturn is coming next month. White collar automation coming in October. Down the bottom, Greater United North America, exotic materials and improved maintenance procedures, which is a anti-random event technology that I'm trying to pick up. After Mission to Saturn, we'll either go straight to Mission to the Outer Planets, or we'll start observing a split. 1 Earth technology, 1 ship technology, and then 1 catching up on other technologies or a space technology in the middle. If we can hold on to all 3, which at this point in the game, we're in a decent shape to do. What are we constructing? Keeping in mind that I'm hovering around this 130 mark where we will permanently be in like the high 50s, low 60 max minimum height range. I think we're probably about 60 to 70 actual height. We're constructing a few ships of various designs. Let's have a look at some of them. The Guardian, which is the PD ship I showed you earlier, that's being constructed around Mars to deal with torpedoes. The Mars class I showed you earlier is a triple torpedo 140mm monitor. Then you have the Screen. This is a PD ship that is intended for Earth operations. It's not dedicated pure anti-torpedo, but I've taken advantage. The reason I'm using this is because I already have a bunch of escorts that don't have point defense on them. So unless I want to retire all of them and build the Mars class, which is 1 PD for 3 missile tubes, I thought I'd bulk out the existing escorts with a dedicated PD ship. So we have 2 point defense ion batteries, which is the upgraded version of the E-beamer. We've got upgraded tech there. 2 40mm autocannons will deal with any mag rounds that are coming our way, hopefully, or at least some of them. 40mm also serves as a great backup weapon, by the way. If you run out of ammo for your missiles, 40 mic if you have enough velocity behind it, that'll put a hole in something. Level 3 targeting computer in case we want to shoot the 40mm at them. And this thing here is heavy, but we save weight by not having the magazines. This is a salvage bay. Every salvage bay you have in the fleet increases the amount of salvage you get at the end of it, including exotic materials, I believe, by 10%. And that adds up to a total of up to 50. You can only have 1 per ship, and you can't put them on tiny little escorts. So putting them on our little PD monitors, at least for the moment, good compromise. And the Orion drive, the nuclear bomb propulsion system, is enough with only 8 propellant tanks to give this thing 5 KPS DV. It's functional for Earth orbital defense. Meanwhile, we have 4 bases that are setting up on Mercury, Ultramar, Elysia, Armageddon, and Krieg. I believe Krieg is the one that is already finishing up. These are here to mine base metals and nobles. We've settled a bunch of them. We had to spend some boost to get there faster because the AI moth to a flame this place. I think 4 is about the right number of Mercury mines because it also means we're getting all of the good noble sites except for one that went to the Resistance. Initiative has come out there and grabbed a 60 metal, 3 fissile material site, given a little bit of fissiles. Question mark over whether we want Alva Crater. And what I ultimately decided was I don't want it so much I'll spend boost on it, but if my construction module finishes first, I might claim it. So this would be a nice big chunk of nobles and metals eventually once we develop it. But before we do that, our first alien fleet in the Conga line should be arriving at Earth. Hopefully it won't wait to rendezvous. It'll look at the fact it's got a bunch of combat power and give us a go. Although, before we shoot them down, Greater United North America is complete. This is pretty expansive. If you look at the claims, Mexico, all the way down to Panama, Cuba, which we've already secured. A lot of places we won't go after because they're controlled by friendly factions. El Salvador. So yeah, the real one here is the point where the trigger point is when I'm gonna switch the United States from build mission control mode, which is not efficient, but it's what we've needed to do to push the space economy to readiness, to fix the United States. And the point that we're gonna start doing that is once we have absorbed Mexico and Cuba. Once we've done that, we've got enough of the population base into the economy that we'll get the scaling benefits off that. Then we're gonna solve inequality, knowledge, cohesion. I'll show you how you do it when we get there. We'll need to fix democracy as well, lift that back up. The wars will eventually have to end in order to level out the democracy score, but we'll use it as a little bit of a patch to hold us together until then. Okay, there's Victor 79 entering orbit. Let's see if it wants to have a go. It wants to have a go at Leo 7. We can deal with that. Where is Battlefleet Earth? Ready to go. Transfer to Leo 7. How long until that alien arrives again? The answer is he's arriving right bloody now. So what we'll do is we'll do a 7-hour transfer and hope they don't destroy the station before we get there. So there we are, it's transferred. And we have arrived, so it takes time to destroy a HAB once you dock with it. We get a little bit of a window which we've taken. Let's engage. They're willing to accept, and let's torpedo them. The only difference here should be that compared to last time, we have even better torpedoes than before. I'm still using liquid rockets though, so we're not going to do any burn, and we're going to rely on our forward armor to tank the lasers. The other reason not to maneuver is if you turn your side armor to lasers, and these are laser ships, they'll punish you for it. There go our nuclear-powered Athenas, and you'll see they burn for a long time. Like a long time. They're still acquiring more velocity. They're still burning. They're still burning. They're still burning. They might even be burning when they arrive, which means they can also, yeah, they're still burning. And the first volley hits. Love it. And because we're teaching the aliens that 4 of our ships can kill 2 of theirs, it's a less dramatic lesson than if we'd only sent 2. At this point, my mission control, my force utilization, I could decommission ships, but they're sending so many that I can't really afford to decommission them. 0.14 exotics, a promotion, a new engineering officer on the Glaive. Good work, Battlefleet Earth. Turn home, refuel, rearm. Launch the home plate. Although, don't burn too much of my fuel getting there, please. Oh, cool, and one of our officers of the lab on board the research fleet gets promoted. All right, free officer.
Here's what we've found.
Before this rush for gold turns red, to staunch the flow of blood, other nations will send their own armed envoys. It is in our best interest to be gone before that happens. Director Khalid Alashkar overheard private conversation.
All right, militarization of space. That, among many other things, is our marine technology. So once that pops, we'll research it, we'll get a marine tech, and off we go. What do we want to do in this slot? because we've got space tech in the middle, we've got earth tech, which means this needs to be a ship tech or a colony hab tech. Advanced fission systems to do propulsion might be an option. Give me a second. Now, I'm going to explain a geopolitical situation to you and just hear me out. We finally sent US troops into Cuba. We are occupying Havana as we speak to organize its welcome inclusion into the United States and North America. The reason we've done this after years of just blockading them to stop the aliens taking over, as far as we've told the public, is because another power declared they were going to be sending an army. They declared war on Cuba and said they're going to help by sending an army. The UK and South Korea both declared war on Cuba to help, and then I got a notification saying they were going to send their army. So I figured at that point, we can't have them roll in and do it for us. So we'll do that. We'll roll in. We will integrate Cuba. Meanwhile, I've also gone down here and started grabbing Bolivia. This is a long-term project. Eventually, Bolivia is a bit of a fixer-upper. The government score is low, GDP is low. There's a lot in this country you would want to fix. Insurrection is the current unrest level, and the rest state is 8.3. Like, there's a lot to do here in terms of everything. So I want to start early. The reason is because eventually Bolivia is the South American state that can get claims on just about everything else. There are lots and lots of different South American unions, one based on Brazil, one based on Argentina, but I believe the one based on Brazil is the biggest, the big South American union. So I figure it's really cheap. It's like 8 points to hold it. We'll go in, we'll grab it, and just for a year or two, we'll just let it tick along with its tiny economy. Slowly, our first step is to get it out of anocracy, because that gives a massive negative to your cohesion. There you see flat -2 for anocracy. So we'll just let that trundle along, slowly fixing itself. I think we should be about to grab Cuba. There we go. Cuba has been successfully integrated to the United States of North America. How long until we can federate? We can federate now. So actually, that might make next turn a very busy turn, because I believe we can federate Mexico into the USNA. Not unify, but federate. And I also believe the full reunification of China might also be possible now. So if I go relations, yep, 26th September. Oh, that's a big tech. This is the administration tower. These things cost 1 mission control to upkeep, unlike the base level 1 version, but instead of giving you 4 control point cap, having them in orbit, it gives you 1 mission control, however, it costs 4 boost to maintain. So if we're currently paying 1 per module, we're paying 3 per upgrade. We can do at least 5 upgrades without going negative. I think we're just going to upgrade everything except the negative, try and build up more boost, and if we need to, buy it from Exodus. So if we have a look, yes, Space Medical Center, all very, very interesting. Let's research something in the interim. Let's keep it social. What have I got in the social queue? Apparatchiks. Control point capacity 10. Fantastic. We are going to go slightly negative here as soon as we start upgrading, because we'll no longer be getting the bonuses. However, we're about to make a saving with a unification here. So that might be exactly what the doctor ordered. Let's save the upgrades for when we pull the trigger on that, so we don't immediately go over cap. And then I'll show you what I mean.
Take water for granted each and every day.
That is the
Yet
theme of the episode.
No matter how humanity might evolve over the centuries to come, one thing will never change. Everything we are and everything we do depends upon water. Chancellor Li Qingzao, Public Lecture, Xi'an Jiaotong University.
So that's ISRU. This is the slot where I'm trying to rack up some of the low-cost technologies that are still useful. ISRU is useful for events that improve the output of your mines. I think it's also tied to mining orgs. I think we also need space commerce for that, but I'm not sure that's my first priority. The big one here would be push all the way to administrative algorithms, which is your tier 3 administration complexes, and a bunch of other stuff. Transnational management is, I think, 120 control point cap. It's huge. But I'm not sure pushing straight to that is worthwhile. What else have we got in the queue at the moment? Fission systems, which is our ship technology. This is our economy technology. What I might finally do actually is pick up infrared combat lasers, because this unlocks defensive modules. And this is important because then the AI can build defensive modules and potentially protect themselves against the aliens. That said, it's not going to arrive so early that I don't think our Marines can do their work. All right, that's security measures. This is a -2 on enthrall missions against our control points. I'm not investing a huge amount in these security technologies because I'm mostly protecting myself by trying to keep the aliens out of my territory, although this one is now in Venezuela after just causing shit in Guyana. So might have to deal with Xenoform Alpha 9. But yeah, I'm trying to get enough security measures they can't come over and just enthrall the United States, for example. But I'm not overly emphasizing it. Some of these techs get very, very expensive, although there are some cheaper ones down the bottom. Ferrocite liability is only 5,000. Executive protection's another -2 against their enthrall missions, their mind control, and that's only 5,000. So that might be a nice one to pick up. Yeah, this is, okay, that's 20,000, but it's against a whole bunch of missions. Exotic hybrid systems is something we have to do eventually.
Another offers a hand to negotiate. A third falls prostrate. And the fourth runs. Only one of those chose the right, best response. What we're trying to understand is how to ensure we induce that response when the time comes. Colonel Hans Castillo, during a staff meeting with morale officers.
Great, so that's arrival psychology. The next go then is probably extended space survival, working our way towards tier 3 HABs, also tier 2 residence modules, a whole bunch of useful base stuff. So ship technology over here with drives, and we're going to pretty much have at least one spot dedicated to nothing but drives pretty continuously now. Middle slot is going to be weapons, third slot is economy, at least for the moment. And here we go. So to make sure you do this in the correct direction, remember the steps we've had to take. Firstly, we needed to get this island, we need to give Taiwan its independence. To do that, instead of declaring independence as Taiwan, we went to Beijing and said, hey guys, do you want to be independent? So we went to Beijing and we formalized a two-China policy. Then we made them allies. We brought them two together. Then we federated them. Now, because we've done it the peaceful way, if we set policy on Taiwan, we can unify in either direction. If we set policy on at Beijing, it would unify under Beijing. This way, we are going to unify under Taipei, meaning we suddenly have this, the Republic of China. Yes, the Republic of China's economy has expanded slightly because it just ate the largest economy in the world in purchasing power parity terms. So this is the Republic of China. Research is not going to spike immediately because we just absolutely destroyed our cohesion. Yeah. Part of that is because we're now super democratic, and yet we still have relatively high levels of inequality, and we just, ate a whole bunch of additional territory. So, to fix this, we're now going to switch things up. We've probably built enough mission control for the moment. We've got a buffer of about 75 to work with, and the US still has a little bit more to build, 3, 4, 5 points. Mexico still has another 6 points to build, and we'll find other places to build it. So for the moment, we're going to take the ROC, that's weird to say, we're going to take the ROC off mission control for a while, and we're going to start research maxing this country a little better. First step is always stability, trying to get cohesion up. I'm going to look at what causes that cohesion problem. Big part of it is inequality. So we're going to crush inequality. We're going to invest heavy into education because it drives science, but also as long as you're investing in it, kind of like Unity, it pushes you, it doesn't change your rest state, but it drags you towards the center. So we'll go a lot of knowledge, a little bit of Unity, none of this stuff. I'll play around with the exact balance, but we're probably going to be like something like that. 43% knowledge, that's too much Unity. We don't need to build nukes either. So like 50% knowledge, 33% welfare, like 11% Unity, something like that. We might throw some PR in there as well. Drag this back to 5, and then pretty quickly through the mounting effect of knowledge and bringing cohesion up, we should start to spike this because that research went up even though cohesion shattered. You can imagine, as we push that up, we're going to get some good results. Also remember, we're not currently advising the Republic of China. We were advising the PRC because our advice counselor was on the PRC. So yeah, he's awaiting next phase. We'll drop him on the Republic of China, see what happens to our research output. Oh, also, we now have that control point cap. So let's talk Earth orbit. Humanity first, Earth. Okay. We're building some fission reactor arrays because I knew this was coming. We need to go build modules. Here we are, administration tower. Now, I think We're going to need a farm too. We are absolutely going to need a farm. But I think that should be able to handle it. So if we take... When's that going to finish? 14 October. These finish super soon. So I might give Leo 1 a couple of days to finish its upgrade. This one's fine pretty much out of the gate, but we're going to need a farm. That's pretty simple. Because otherwise this thing's got a crew support cost of 5.8 and 5.8. So I'll do some tweaking, but you can see what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through and try and make sure you have a farm, because that can mitigate up to 18 water, 18 volatiles a month from crew support costs. I don't want to pay 6 and 6 per station. Make sure we've got enough power to spare. This one costs 10, this one costs 40, already has the farm. Good to go. Get those upgrades in, and when they finish, we should get a nice surge in control point capacity. And on top of all of it, we will federate Mexico and the USNA. The countdown for them to now unify, which is how long Mexico has to complete building its mission control, April 2033. Not that long. I think the aliens are about to attack Exodus. They're flying to Tiangong Station. And yeah, we got plenty of Terra missions going on around the world now. We've got to deal with those alien operatives. Automated mining complex. I need that for Mercury, because I'm going to build at least one automated base there. That's not a priority technology. And did the aliens just bail? The forces of Exodus defeated the aliens in a space battle at Tiangong Station. You bloody rippers. Apparently this motley crew, I'm guessing it wasn't the 10-inch cannons that did it. I wish I could watch that battle. There's some Artemis torpedoes in there. That would have been enough. And some 40 millimeters as point defense, a lot of 10-inch cannons. Wow, okay, so they just... awesome. I'm going to play with my notification settings to make sure I hear about that when that happens. Yeah, research alien technology. Okay. So Exodus has shot one but needs to capture one, but they do have tech. Resistance has captured one, but they don't have tech yet. Initiative hasn't done either. Academy also hasn't shot one and has an objective to talk to them. The Protectorate is trying to figure out how surrendering works, and the servants have tried to figure out how worshipping in the feet of the bloody alien invaders works. So, yeah, power to them. Coexist. Apparently it's a very complex concept, surrendering. 25,000 research points worth. Go, Exodus. Well done, guys. Scratch 2. 62 alien ships in total. 5 of them are en route to Earth. 2 are en route to Mars. So yeah, more than 10% of all alien ships currently in existence. They're obviously building more. Because they're at high height, they're being attracted. We can shoot them down so we can control the growth rate of that fleet. That's the concept. Okay, that's promising. 5th May 2034. What have we baited to the nest now? Looks like 3 ships this time. Much better. Fading Sky. I'll check my notes. I think Opal Tides might be torpedo escorts. So we might make sure we have our PD ready by them. And then is this 4 Dusk Winds? Okay, 4 laser boats. They're nice torpedo fodder. And 2 Opal Tides. So we should have enough ships. It's 564 days away. No worries at all. Let's turn Earth on and turn Mars off. So 48 days away, there's a transport destroyer. We may or may not try and shoot that down. I don't think I have a Orion drive-equipped interceptor just yet, but I'm going to work on one. Something that can catch these things and bring them down rather than shooting the agent on the planet. I've been letting them through. Someone asked. I've been letting Hydra agents through in part because I'd like to give the other factions a chance to take the hate for me and also advance their storylines. Because I am intel sharing a lot. Battlecruiser, 227 days. Yeah, we're in good shape for the moment. This six ship fleet, I'm mostly happy it's on its way because now it can't deathball with anything else. And I'm pretty sure with proper management, we can shoot this down in a defensive engagement. All fair, no hate gain, and yeah, 19 combat power. These are torpedo boats. So we'll make sure I'm constructing a screen class monitor at home plate at the moment around low Earth orbit. This is some PD. We might need a little bit more. You know what I didn't need? I didn't need that. Oh, you bastard. Oh, you bastard. You're dead. I was going to take your station just so you couldn't do this, but you're doing it first. So apparently the Protectorate is so butthurt that humanity isn't surrendering to the aliens and that we're actually successfully fighting back. They figured the only way to make themselves right is to bloody sabotage our war effort. So 21 minutes to low Earth orbit 7. Where's Battlefleet Earth? Let's go squash these guys. I'm going to send all ships just to make a point. Low Earth orbit 7. Yeah, burn in now. I don't care if it costs water. Make a point. There we go. Engage the target. I'm going to watch this. I'm not even going to auto-combat this. Let's squash the butt. This... You know what? It was personal before this, but this is an open declaration of war. This isn't political jostling on Earth. This isn't economics. This isn't fighting over tax lots. This isn't hostile takeover of corporate entities. This is building a warship that could be used to defend Earth, sending it into orbit, and then sending it against an unarmed research station in Earth orbit and attempting to destroy it. And it is only because our fleet was able to get there in time that it didn't massacre the civilians of low Earth orbit station 7. I'm not sure how to feel about that act of betrayal. I'm not sure what to think about the crew on that ship who followed those orders to go and do it. You can see those 30mm cannons are attempting to engage, and they're not going to do it. Those rounds probably shouldn't pose much threat to us because they're not fired against us, they're fired against the torpedoes. Kieran, I think it's time that we stop talking about your horrific past and have a heart-to-heart discussion about your horrific future.
Initiating contact.
Mate, I want to chat to you. Let's do a little trade. I want to congratulate you.
With the great exodus.
Do you want an organization that makes you better at shooting people? I trust you with this power. Good work. I know that it's going to be hard to keep good diplomatic... What are you taking over?
Offering support.
What are you targeting? Not me, apparently. What is that? It's a surveillance destroyer. As you can see, though, they're launching from much closer. Now that they can launch from the Jupiter system, the Jovian system, the delay on some of these ships is going to be much lower. Our chance to respond with built ships is going to be reduced in some cases. So in Earth orbit, we might want to upgrade to Tier 2 shipyards so we can produce escorts faster and still have the ability to hit a oh shit button and respond if needed. To do that, though, I might want to go up to Tier 3 HABs. Not urgent, but just something to keep an eye on. I think it's very optimistic of them to send a surveillance destroyer, though. I'm very happy to shoot that down, while in the background I sieve and prepare whatever vengeance we have in mind for Kieran Banerjee and the Protectorate. Because seriously, originally this was going to be about resources, and I hadn't even done that yet. So, okay, Kieran. But I think next episode, or even before next episode, there's going to have to be a reckoning. Okay, it's December 2032, and let's stop here for a moment. Because I feel like if you're Hans Castillo, if you're Humanity First at this point, you are feeling livid, perhaps not surprised, but certainly betrayed and even more disappointed than you were before. Because we've sort of been guilty of keeping too much of an eye on the aliens. We've just been focusing on scaling our science output, raising democracy in China, maximizing outputs there, shooting down alien ships, defending the bloody planet, and then what do you know? In short order, a couple of things happen. The Protectorate launch a warship, send it to an unarmed station full of researchers, and then I just checked out the station before, they actually destroyed a module. They would have killed crew. I'm rebuilding it now, it's slowing me down, but plus their agent stopped reporting to us, the one we turned, so I'm sending Audrey back in to try and reconvince him, because we're going to want intelligence on all their agents. But suffice to say, this feels, whether it was meant to be or not, like a coordinated operation, a backstab by the Protectorate, because presumably we were doing too well proving that resistance was possible, so they've decided to try and make it impossible. I've responded with a couple of measures. Firstly, I've thrown the Protectorate out of North Korea. I'm going to use North Korea for some interesting things. Whether we fit into this episode, I'm not sure. Secondly, I've reconfigured the Republic of China's priorities. We can't afford to build economy because I'm going to need my control point cap because I'm going to go take nations away from the Protectorate because they don't deserve to have them. We're probably going to start with Saudi Arabia because that has huge unifier potential. We can drop a technology, maybe the Caliphate on it, and then it can potentially eat other nations that the Protectorate is in, and it will give us a mechanism to throw them out of even more. Another option is the Pan-Asia research, and eventually go expanding in Asia to try and take away some of the terrain that they have there. Russia is probably too tough a nut to crack for now. Too many control points, too many nuclear weapons. However, symbolically, we have declared a rivalry between the Republic of China and Russia. Russia is now big enough to be a 5 control point nation, which means it qualifies as a peer rival for a 6-pointer. So both the United States and China can get bonus cohesion for being rivaled with Russia. One of the things I have some plans on how to fix the cohesion, which has been destroyed in the Republic of China, but we're already grinding it up relatively quickly. We're just going to go knowledge, welfare, a little bit of environment, and unity until we're popular enough, and then go from there. In terms of other actions, that's our plan on Earth. I'm also throwing this just as a pure symbolic thing. This is publicized alien threat. This is a one-time public opinion bomb that you get very early in the game, and it just shifts all public opinion in the world towards you a little bit once in exchange for a little bit of research. I've kept it in my back pocket for a moment where I thought it might be useful. I figure being backstabbed by the Protectorate is that moment. I may not be willing to go after and cleanse the servants just yet because of how much alien hate can be caused by going after them. But the Protectorate, as far as I'm concerned, their lives are forfeit. And then we need to think about how to take away their space empire. The Protectorate has done a much better job building up their space presence than the servants have. They're using a lot more mission control, they're building a lot faster, and as you can see, they're now able to build warships with positive incomes on all resources and a number of bases still building. I went through the Protectorate bases, and as you can see, between Mars and asteroids, they have fairly decent incomes. There is, however, a major weakness in terms of a reliance in their entire economic structure. They get almost all of their water income. They are barely positive. Without one base, where is it? Here. This one base on Ceres is producing the overwhelming majority of their water, a significant chunk of their volatiles. If we can take that away, potentially Forvesta away, and some of their other territory, this would be a good one to strip from them, their Mars terrain, as well as their shipyard in Earth orbit. That goes without saying. If we can send in the Marines, take away their critical water, volatile, and shipbuilding infrastructure, it should start to drain their boost and slow down their economic mobilization in space, at least giving us time to arm up and do a little bit more damage. My thinking is we're going to build Marine ships around Earth, around Mars, around Ceres, not quite the asteroids yet, but at least those 3 locations. We're going to seize all Protectorate space assets. We're going to keep the ones that are useful, noting that we are over mission control quite a bit now, so I don't want to grow by too much, but a lot of the stuff that we don't want, we are going to rebrand it, new coat of paint, clean up a little bit after the work our Marines are likely to do when they encounter Protectorate personnel fighting against them, and then trade those bases off to the Resistance. Because Exodus has kept their non-aggression pact, but they have now terminated their intelligence sharing. And at this stage in the game, we are doing really well. I'm on veteran difficulty, which means diplomacy is more difficult. We're going to drift away from Exodus slowly over time. I can probably stay non-aggression with them for quite a while, but they're not going to maintain the old intelligence sharing. The only faction on paper that I should be able to maintain full relations with and not worry about envy over time as long as I don't poke them is the Resistance. So I am going to feed the Resistance more space assets, get this built up, and see if we can get more Exodus-style events where they build ships, they shoot down aliens, so I don't have to. I was actually preparing for this sort of eventuality for a while. So one of our shipyards on Ceres at Donager Base is building a real estate class corvette. In 15 days, that will be ready with 3 modules of Humanity First Marines ready to go introduce themselves to those Protectorate personnel that up until this point, hilariously enough, they have been sharing this little rock with. Now, alternatively, we could build Marine modules and send them overland. That's a bit of a walk, so we're going to do it with the Marine frigate instead. Let's run the turn. Let's get some vengeance for the people who are on that low Earth orbit station. While this was happening, I was also taking down an alien, but Erica Wu never misses, and as part of that process, we've captured a live theropod alien. This is a live salamander. Beauty, it said, is not skin deep, and neither, it seemed, is monstrosity. Demonstrates neither obvious fear nor compliance, bristling with barely withheld aggression at all times. Yet this is clearly no animal. It watches carefully, choosing its moments and its actions carefully, never recklessly. The salamander is a chilling being to find oneself in the presence of, the coiled might of the thing, the eyes that emanate only cold hatred, and most of all, the sense that is patiently waiting for the perfect moment to strike. If it is, as we suspect, a mere foot soldier in a war we do not fully yet comprehend, it is nevertheless one more than capable of its own decision-making. And we're going to learn more about the salamanders, part of that trio of species I was talking about, now that we can have a chat to it in person the same way we did to the Hydra before it. Oh. And one of them decided to land, what did it say? The Nashville region, it's calling this? Yeah, mate, I don't think you understand where you just landed. Well, I reckon Soren's comments speak for themselves in that case. We are making solid progress. At this stage, a lot of stuff would be nice to go with. I think space commerce. For these mining companies, we need to get more mining bonuses stacked up. I haven't seen many 1-stars appear. I think this is the way to do it. Arrival culture is also important eventually. But I'm going to lock in space commerce. So we're going power system, next generation aerospace, so ship technology, economy technology. Let's keep it rolling. Okay, our first 2 marine cruisers have launched. A real estate corvette over on Ceres, which I believe can assault its hab from the ground. It has an 89% chance of success. And then over around Earth, let's just check the Protectorate does not have a fleet up. They have one state. What are you doing around Venus, mate? Geez, everyone's around Venus. Why? I mean, it's got reasonable solar and no one else is around, so it makes an okay fleet base. Oh, and they have a station around Mercury. No sites on Mercury, though. So it looks like everything has now claimed. We've got all the good stuff that we wanted. Resistance grabbed that one. We might go grab that later on. It would mean building a ship on Mercury, which is a bit of a waste. This is pretty harmless by itself, but we need to keep an eye out because if they build a bombardment-capable ship, we are in trouble. But here's what we are going to do, since we're in the clear. Slow transfer out to their real estate. Standing by with the Marines, with the Ceres Marines. These are Space Marines in a literal sense. They are Marines that are in space. They have fairly basic equipment and training. They are just tech level 1. We're going to do much better by the end of the campaign, but mate, it's only 2032. So, I know this might be a shorter episode then, but I think this is where I want to cut it. Because next episode, I think we're about to launch a war. Not so much against the aliens. We'll keep defending. They have fleets incoming. There'll be some major battles, I'm sure. Yeah, decent chunk. So we'll be seeing 12 combat ships. 12 combat ships and transports in relatively short order, which is a significant chunk of an alien fleet that currently only numbers 67. So we'll be ready for them. But the Protectorate, I'm willing to guarantee they're not ready for us. So next episode, in retaliation for that stunning act of treachery, the Marines are going in.